Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadaDipCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadaDipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canada Dips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports. Champions League. All right, the quarterfinals. We got 4th place Inter Milan beating 12th place Bayern Munich 4-3. I think drama. That's what we got in that second leg, and that's what you're supposed to get in these second legs. You know, you got Bayern Munich pushing off a ball boy, for crying out loud. But yeah, man, just Inter Milan, man, just look so sturdy. They look so strong. They don't fear their opponents, and I think that that's something that's important to think about this Inter Milan team. They play with no fear. They let it be known their style of play, and yeah, I mean, Lautaro Martinez got these guys. Lautaro Martinez is just playing, you know, like a guy that has something to prove. I really like this Inter Milan team. They're really strong. No, I'm not glazing them because they're going to be facing Barcelona by any means, but still, they just took on a team that literally was a semifinalist last year, and removed them out of it. As a matter of fact, three of the four of the 4 semifinalists from last year are gone. Like, there's only one from last year's semifinals that is moving on to the semifinals. So that's something to point, a little interesting storyline to point out, I guess. But yeah, Inter Milan handled their own, showing why they were one of the teams that got an automatic qualification to the knockout round. Showing why they were the 4th place team in the league phase. So yeah, Inter Milan handling their business against Bayern Munich. Speaking of handling their business, man, 3rd place Arsenal beat 11th place Real Madrid. Edward believed in Arsenal, and you know what? It happened. It really did happen. So Real Madrid ends up getting eliminated. First leg win was a 3-0 victory for Arsenal, and the second leg was a 2-1 win in the Bernabeu. I think when you're talking about momentum, there it is. You went into the Bernabeu and beat Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Like, that is huge. So there is a lot of confidence if you're Arsenal right now. You are playing well. You're playing complete. Your defense is you're doing well defensively. You're making good decisions on the attack. As a matter of fact, you blew out Ipswich. Yes, it's granted it's Ipswich, but it's coming off of just these good forms consecutively. So I think that if you're Arsenal right now, you feel like all momentum's coming in. This is like that championship DVD moment, if you will, for Arsenal, beating a giant like Real Madrid, a team that's well known for Champions League. On the other side, man, just Real Madrid just had no response to what Arsenal was doing. I think once again, Real Madrid just not being able to respond well to quick quick movements of the ball. I think Arsenal did very well in the transition, and I think that really exposed a lot of Real Madrid. Now, granted, Real Madrid, I'm not gonna make excuses for Real Madrid. They just weren't the better team. They haven't been the better team a lot this year, and it's been showing. And I think that this was kind of exposing that right now. Arsenal was clearly the better team. Real Madrid was expected to be the better team, but they just did not have it. They just looked lost in the sauce, and was really there was no. And I know everyone was talking about the potential of a remontada for Real Madrid. They've done this before. They've done it plenty of times before. I just think this time was completely different. It is just a different scenario. They just didn't have it this year. They just did not. And well, we'll talk a little bit more about Real Madrid further down in this episode. But it just has to be said that, like, as much as someone wants to make excuses for Real Madrid, you really can't. Arsenal was just out and out, just the better team in this matchup. They showed why they were the team that finished in 3rd in the league phase. Like, Real Madrid was very overwhelming, not only in Champions League but also in La Liga this year. So it's been overwhelming for Real Madrid in general. And once again, Arsenal, while they have been overwhelming in the Premier League, mind you, they're still in 2nd place. it's not to the level of what Real Madrid, with the expectations of Real Madrid. I think Arsenal is one of those teams that everybody's just along for the ride, but at the same time, like this is a statement win. Like I hope that they're able to follow up um, with this performance against Real Madrid because you just beat the team that's known for Champions League. And that should say a lot to Mikel Arteta and his boys, um, you know, to how they respond in their semifinal matchup. So just point that out. And then we got second place Barcelona beating 10th place Borussia Dortmund 5-3. It just was never close. I mean, yes, the second leg did get a little dicey at the end, but it just, you know, kind of similar to that Arsenal Real Madrid game. That first leg, they just did enough to where they just needed to, hold their own. While they did give Dortmund did make it feel a little close at one point. Once Barcelona put that goal in, it was done. Um, Barcelona once again, me and I were talked about it. I was like, should they be put in as the heavy favorite at this point? And Edward said yes, and I agree. I don't disagree to that. They in Champions League right now. Once again, going back to, early in January when we had Hofit on, he said this team is built for tournaments, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're playing well in tournament right now. So this is probably where you want to be, where if you're a Barca fan, being viewed as the heavy favorite going into the semifinals. Now you have an interesting matchup, and we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, you feel like Barcelona, like you know, it's theirs to not. I don't want to say it's theirs to lose, but there's a reason why a lot of people are viewing them as the heavy favorite, just the way they're playing right now in this tournament. And then the final one, 15th place PSG, the only team from last year's semifinals to be returning to the semifinals after beating 8th place Aston Villa 5-4. One, props to Aston Villa, man. They put up a good battle. It just wasn't enough at the end. Obviously, PSG had the 3-1 win in the first leg and then a 2-3 loss in the second leg. Once again, it was a lot closer compared to compared to Arsenal and the Arsenal Real Madrid matchup and Barcelona Borussia Dortmund, but it just PSG has just been in a whole different level this year. Obviously, still undefeated in Ligue 1, and pretend funny enough, like you get rid of Mbappe, and you're probably in a better position because of that. Right now people are cursing Mbappe's name right now in Real Madrid. You know, I think that PSG feels like they're coming off as the people in the right for not re-signing Mbappe, even though Mbappe was never going to resign. So I think once again, this is just props to Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique, one of the honestly one of the best coaches in Barcelona's history, and I think you're seeing what he's doing with this PSG team. So I think hats off to him. Give him his flowers because he's doing with this PSG team that we haven't seen in a while. You know, not since Tuchel. So I think that this was the right hire for PSG, and I think he's giving these guys a self belief that they can be a problem in this Champions League. So we'll see how that all goes. But all right, the semifinals. We got third place Arsenal taking on 15th place PSG. This is I just want to say this right now. Both these matchups are good. I think these are going to be some great matchups for the semifinals. But Arsenal and PSG will be played April 29th and May 7th. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, this is going to be a good one. I think both teams I think feed off of can get the better of each other depending on the situation. I think it's going to go down to how you respond defensively and who can bag the goals quicker because I think these two teams are going to I think I'm expecting shootouts. I think from both. I think these are going to be some high scoring games, and I can't wait to see it. Um, I think right now because of the Real Madrid result, Arsenal right now should be having a momentum shifter. I think they could go right into PSG and feel like they can handle their own against them. So I'm going to say Arsenal beats PSG and they go to the final. I'm going to say that. That's going to be my prediction right there. I think there's a no. Is Arsenal perfect? No. But I think right now everything's coming in right for them. Players are getting healthy at the right time. I think this is a good place to be for Arsenal. This is where they got to show their class above PSG. PSG, granted, is still a good team, but remember they play in Liga, and a lot of people view them as the Farmers League. And PSG has a position to try to make a statement here that hey, yeah, we play in this quote unquote Farmers League, but we are still one of the best teams in the world. And so I think that both narrative get matches, both teams have yet to have won a Champions League. They have never won a Champions League in their club's history. Yeah, I think so. Um, this would be a prime opportunity to make a statement victory and move on to the final. I'm going to give the edge to Arsenal. I do have some bias because of Arsenal, but I think that this is going to be a really good matchup, and I think momentum shifter, if you will, could be put in play here, and that's what I'm riding with. The team with the most momentum, and that team right now is Arsenal. So that's why I'm picking Arsenal as well. Um, In the other semifinal matchup is second place Barcelona versus fourth place Inter Milan. These matches will be played April 30th and May 6th. Last time Inter Milan has won the Champions League was in 2010, and last time Barcelona won the Champions League was in 2015. So it's been a while since both. It's been a lot longer since Inter Milan has won, but it's been a while. Almost, yeah, it's been 10 years since Barcelona has won a Champions League, and I mean they're on pace for a treble, right? They're in the Copa del Rey final. Um, as long as they don't harm themselves in any way, they're in a good position to win La Liga. And I mean, you're one match away from making it to the Champions League final, and you're the heavy favorite of the Champions League. You are the quote unquote right now. You are built for tournaments. I think you very much exceeded expectations. All these things about Barcelona, but you're going up against a freight train in Inter Milan. And I think that as far as matchups goes, Hansi Flick style play versus Inter Milan style play, it could be a very interesting semifinal matchup. I'm gonna hate watch this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm biased. I'm gonna pick Inter Milan, but also in reality, it's probably Barcelona's gonna make it to the final. But like I said, I want Inter Milan to win, but I'm gonna okay. I want Inter Milan to win, but I'm predicting Barcelona to make it to the final. So it might be a rematch of I forgot what was it 2005 when Arsenal played Barcelona in the Champions League final. Maybe Arsenal gets the revenge. We'll see what happens, Ben. But
Who is that guy?